Welcome to GCCars. My name is Eric and this is the 2022 Mercedes Benz EQS580. Say hello to a new kind of S-Class. This all-electric Mercedes Benz EQS offers over 600 kilometers of range, packs a punch at 516 horsepower, and has screen real estate that rivals the New York Stock Exchange. But is that enough to justify its price tag of a whopping $170,000 Canadian? And that's what we want to find out today. But if you end up liking the video, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell because it costs exactly $0. It's completely free to you and you get new fresh content in your inbox every single week. And the more subscribers I have, the cooler cars I can show you. So if you want to see a Lucid Air or something, make sure to subscribe. Anyhow, let's start off talking about the exterior of this EQS. And yeah, I made fun of this in the Ioniq video because it's kind of shaped like an egg. I'll be honest. Yes, styling is subjective, so if you like it, wonderful, perfect. The more cars you like, the better. But it does look very interesting. I think it just doesn't look expensive enough. I wish we had a little bit more aggressive styling, a little more muscular. But of course, all that contributes to the very, very low drag this has. At a coefficient of 0.2, this is actually tied with the Lucid Air for the lowest drag of any production vehicle on the market today. So that of course comes benefits of increased range, but you just got to know, is it worth the trade-off? Well, you decide that for yourself. Let's go a little bit more in detail here. So we have obsidian black metallic as the color, which is a very nice black because there's some flake bronze flakes kind of in the paint, just make it look very nice. Up front here we have a few Mercedes stars. If you didn't notice, there's this like one or two. How many is it again? 124. So just in case you wanted to show all those plebeian people driving $100,000 Mercedes that yours is better, this has 124 Mercedes stars. Just to make sure that, you know, it's a Mercedes. Moving on though, we have these 21-inch wheels, which has this kind of inner ring, which I expect is probably to, you know, make it a little bit more aerodynamic. Then the hood, you can't open that without a tool, actually. Mercedes has gone down the Apple road of don't touch anything on your car. So you can't open this, but where do you put the washer fluid? Well, right here is where you put the washer fluid. Interesting solution. But moving on to the side, this is of course very aerodynamic, just like an egg, essentially. And then moving over to the back, the tail is actually really cool because it's kind of like spirally and turn on in a sequence. I think this looks pretty good. And the rear, honestly, very clean design. I think it looks pretty good from the rear. And yes, overall, I'll be honest, I am warming up to the design, but I don't think I will ever like it. But I definitely dislike it less and less every day. But like I said, design is subjective, so you have to decide on that. Now let's try to get in here with these quirky door handles, which is not that easy. But once you're in, let's take a look at the interior. Okay, let's talk EQS interior. And the very first thing we notice is no soft closed doors, unfortunately. So we got to slam the doors for $170,000. But this being the EQS, there of course are quite a few expectations towards the amenities and how nice it will be inside of this car. And I will be honest, for $170,000, I'm a little disappointed. Here, there's two aspects to this. We're going to talk about materials and so on. First, don't get me wrong. This is a very, very nice cabin. It looks beautiful. The materials are really good all throughout. Quality is very good. Like it's better than normal in most Mercedes, I think. It's not quite as creaky, although the driver's side passenger armrest is a little creaky. But honestly, no, otherwise it is very nice. It feels nice. But it's just, I don't know. For $170,000, this doesn't offer more than an E-Class offers. The seats are nice. They're comfy, massaging seats, but it's not quite as good as a massage as, for example, the Navigator has. The heated seats, the cooled seats, both could be a little stronger in my opinion. We do get these beautiful pillows, which are very comfy. And like I said, materials overall, like you have actual real leathers pretty much everywhere. It is nice, but for $170,000, I have a lot of expectations that are not quite met. And usability is very good. It's very well thought out. Everything is in a good spot. Mercedes has learned from my GLE complaint and made it spring-loaded. No, this is like usability-wise very good. We have a huge sunroof which we can control. But the big thing is the tech, specifically the Hyperscreen. Oh my God, this is great. This is fantastic. I was skeptical about the Hyperscreen. So, by the way, this is all one piece, right? It has 3 screens in the middle. We have our gauge cluster screen, we have this huge infotainment screen, and then we have the optional passenger side screen. We'll get to that in a second. I was very skeptical about the tech because, especially in the Mach-E, if you remember, I kind of ripped that one a little bit for just being distracting and borderline dangerous with having such a big screen. This new version of MBUX is incredible. This is probably the best infotainment I have ever used. So there's 2 different layouts. You can have the traditional one with a kind of menu, and then have the 0 layer layout, which essentially your map is your home screen and everything else is a bit like widgets. And the usability is so incredibly intuitive and fast. You really know the Mercedes Benz software designers and engineers, they have spent countless hours looking at Windows and specifically iOS and Android and to see how does it work and why is it so intuitive. If you've ever used a modern phone, you can use this. No problem whatsoever. It is great. It is visually stunning, super fast. I love this. Best infotainment, period is what I was looking for. Great. Funnily enough, our gauge cluster is a little less customizable in comparison to like normal Mercedes, but I don't mind it. This is great. And then we have the passenger side screen, which I will be honest, it is very much a gimmick, but it's still cool to have. If you want to have like the best of the best, right, you gotta have that. You can, there's some use case. Other than that, you just have to reach 2 inches further than you on the screen. Is it cool to have? Yeah. Is it like really that much of an added benefit? No, not really. I like it though. It's cool. TLR, a very nice interior, just not worth the S and not worth $170,000. Like this is Fisher Prince level plastic on a touch point here for these vents. Like it literally is just flimsy cheap plastic. But the tech, the best interior tech I've been in. And the ambient lighting is ridiculous. The ambient lighting is just ridiculous. I love it. Okay, with that being said, let's talk quickly about the back seats. Let's go there. Then we're going to take a look at the trunk and then we're going to finally drive this, okay? Let's go there. And it's starting to rain. Okay, well, there you go. Out of nowhere. Okay, now this is, like I said, fully optioned out. This is as nice as the EQS gets here in Canada, and that includes the $7,000 executive rear seat package, which gives us plenty of things like massaging seats, heated and cooled seats in the back, and these fluffy little pillows up here. And it is very nice. We of course can recline if we would like so, and it is very nice. Once again, is it S-Class level? Is it $170,000 worth of nice? I have my doubts about that, but with that being said, let's get to the cool stuff. Let's put down the middle seat and we get a few things. First of all, if we pop this up, we have a phone charger, wireless phone charger in there. Great. Back seat also have wireless phone chargers now. That is good. And then we have this neat little tablet, which we can, oh, it's really starting to rain now, eh? Which you can pop out. And what can we do with that? Well, we can like control the audio and we can control the ambient lighting. Wow, it really starts pouring now. Well, it's time for a hot, relaxing back massage, isn't it? On the left driver's seat, on the left, oh yeah, there we go. On the left seat. Then we can position do some more stuff. So let's go a little forward, no, go a little backwards. That's good. Our lumbar literally has 100 different levels you can put it at. We do, let's do 4 and 2, 1 and 3, sounds good. Seat climate controls, additional neck warmer. Yep, we want to have that. Basically what I'm trying to say is you're going to be extremely comfortable, especially because just like in other Mercedes, you can have heated and cooled seats at the same time, which is actually really cool. This, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. This is S-Class level, okay? This is what you want. Do you maybe have a little less space? Yes, but this tablet and all, it's just so extra. I love it. I could ride in here for very, long time. With that being said, let's take a look at the trunk and then we go driving. Good Nachmittag. So the trunk, or more liftback, of the EQS is actually pretty nice and roomy. Just like this, we have 20.5 cubic feet of space. And as you can see, we have this nice little privacy cover always coming up and down. And if you need any more space, well, it's pretty simple. You can just put down the second row seats like this. First of all, number one, we also have grocery bag hangers here in the back. There we go. Very simple and easy to do. Even more space now if you have any large objects, if you go to IKEA or something like that. Only thing, of course, is we don't have a frunk, which would be nice because a purpose-built EV should, in my opinion, have a frunk to just give you a little more space. We don't have it here, but at least the trunk is pretty good. With that being said, let's close it down and go driving. Okay, now out on the road here in the 2022 Mercedes Benz EQS580, and as always, we start off with a launch. So sport, and then we want to go into these here, and ESP off. ESP and traction control. Brake torque, well, it's an EV, but still. And let's go. Okay. Woo! It's quick. It's quick. It's quick. It's quick. Yeah. You can do that. So this EQS580 has 516 horsepower and 631 pound-feet of torque sent through all four wheels, and with that power coming from a 107.8 kilowatt-hour battery. And yeah, as you just saw, it's very quick. It is technically not as quick as the Mach-E, the Mach-E GT we've had, but it is the second most powerful car we've had in terms of horsepower, just behind the E63S. And if I, just for fun, to put it in sport again, just floor it. Ooh, edit it. Yeah, it's quick. It's quick. Plenty quick. And there's still AMG versions to come on top, so instant power, instant torque. It is fantastic. It is a lot of fun. It is definitely more engaging than an S-Class will be if we just keep on this comparison. But of course, the smoothness is really what you're in for, right? With an electric drivetrain like this, it is just butter smooth. That's what luxury is made for. This is essentially the perfect Mercedes Benz drivetrain because it is extremely comfortable. We can do a quick comparison between the drivetrain. So this is comfort, flooring it. And then we can do sport, flooring it. Sport is a little more instantaneous, but what you notice the most, what the ABS did not like that. There's a little jump into a puddle. And that was very noticeable that the brakes did not like that. Anyhow, so go back into comfort. And what you heard though was the active sound design. We can turn that completely off. We have two different ones. So this is Vivid Flux in sport mode. Sorry, Silver Flux. I keep getting the names compared. But Vivid Flux, it sounds so cool. It sounds like, you know those Michael Bay movies, especially Transformers, when like two Transformers fly on top of each other in slow motion and then it's like whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, it's kind of that. It's kind of that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool sounding, gotta be honest. The only annoying thing about these things is that they even play when you're parked. So if you're in park for like 4 minutes, it constantly goes, which is very annoying. So if I'm standing still, please don't play any sounds, Mercedes, okay? Anyhow, we're at the point where we always test suspension back into comfort. And we have an air suspension here in this EQS580, and it is very, very comfortable. All bumps get absorbed extremely well. I love riding in this, super comfy. The only thing where it sometimes isn't perfect is when you're at highway speeds and there's like, you know, regular bumps that are quite big. Then can be a little unsettled where it just kind of goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. It doesn't really ever settle down for a while. Not too bad though. It's not like super uncomfortable. If you really look for it, you can see it, you can find it. But especially here, like look at this road. It is so incredibly comfortable. This is one of the most comfortable cars we've ever driven on here. I think it's like just shy of the Escalade, but the Escalade is huge. So of course it has a bit of an easier time to like eliminate the suspension these road imperfections. But no, it is great. It is so comfortable. And of course, noise, vibration, and harshness in general, it is nice and quiet in here. That is what you expect for the price. It is a comfy and quiet cabin. You don't hear much outside noise. You're very well isolated. There's not really many vibrations or rattles or anything going on. It feels well built, which gives you a very nice experience here on the inside of this EQS. All right, but we always talk a bit about handling, not too much though, because like I said, it's not an AMG, so it's not the most important here anyway, but little step out there, even with ESP on. Of course it is wet, so you gotta be a little careful, but it is surprisingly fun to drive. It is surprisingly fun to drive. It is still, of course, not an AMG. It is still not necessarily made to be pushed as much, but with it being an electric powertrain and electric drivetrain, you just have the ability to very much fine-tune your inputs. They get sent to the back if you like corner hard and give it some throttle input. And the ESP and the traction control are very well set up that even with them enabled, you can play around a little. You can get the tail a little playful, I guess, without risking anything, because the car is always there to step in if anything would be like a little too out of the ordinary. So this is actually very well set up. It is fun to drive, but this is an EQS. This is for comfort, which is going to bring us to the last point, and that is, as always, tech. And tech, we've already talked about the Hyperscreen, but talking about the tech in this car is, once again, I am very impressed with what Mercedes has done here. Let's just do casual floor. You get pushed into this pillow, it's just comfortable. Speaking of tech, hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Massage me.
I'm switching on the massage for you.
Thank you. So of course we have MBUX, the voice assistant. Once again, it is the best in the business, but it's still a gimmick. It doesn't work as well as Siri. It doesn't work as well as your Google Assistant or Alexa. It's still nice, but it's still listening to me, for example. Like, I'm great.
How can I?
Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you. You didn't hear that. You're great. Haha. Don't kill me. Thank you. No, but it's a gimmick, but all the other systems around that this EQS offers are really good in terms of safety systems. We of course have lane keep assist, blind spot. We have semi-autonomous lane centering assist, which is coupled, unfortunately, to cruise control, but it works extremely well, which is no surprise because in Europe, specifically Germany, you can get this as the very first level 3 autonomous car. That means up to 65 or 64 kilometers an hour, it will drive itself on the highway, on mapped highways, and you don't have to look. Mercedes Benz takes full liability for it, which is a massive step, honestly. The liability is the biggest step, the biggest hurdle when you're looking at autonomous driving, and that Mercedes went out and was like, okay, we're confident enough in our system that it can drive itself up to 65 kilometers an hour on mapped roads. That's impressive. But for you in North America, this is totally irrelevant because it doesn't do that here. Just like Super Cruise only works in North America, not in Europe, right? Anyhow, you hear that? You don't, because it is so quiet. And the suspension is doing such a good job, it's essentially, I'm not moving. Almost, it feels like. Oh, this is good. This is good. But I was talking about tech. So you do have semi-autonomous driving, which works very well. You have an enormous HUD, which is so amazing. And that what I always wanted to happen was for the augmented reality navigation that Mercedes offers. This has now moved into the head-up display because it's so big. It literally shows you an arrow for you on the road you need to go that goes big, that gets bigger and bigger as the road gets bigger in front of you, right? It is so incredibly easy to navigate in this thing, and it is just a joy. It's a joy. The HUD is great. The tech is fantastic in this. Really, really well done. Which leaves us with the final talking point for today, and that is charging and range. And the range is just phenomenal. Like, genuinely really, really good. Out of one full charge, I would get, with the filming driving, so it's not the most efficient it idles a little. Okay, the idling doesn't do too much, but you know, bit of AC and all that. We get up to 625. Maybe if you're really efficient, you could get 700 kilometers of real world range out of this. And that is great. And you can charge it up to 350 kilowatt hour chargers. Thing is, I've tried it for the first time. There's 4 in Southern Ontario, 2 in Toronto, 2 in Ottawa, and the one I went to didn't work at all. But the 150 ones worked. So even that, it's a 10 to 80% charge in maybe like 30 minutes, 35 minutes, which is still very quick. And then you get 700 kilometers out of that. And I've did the math in terms of like spending right now with the gas prices we have, $2.10 for regular. And you gotta think this would take premium if this would be an ICE car, right? You have an equivalent consumption of 2 liters per 100 kilometers in terms of price, which is ridiculous. So this is incredibly cheap to drive, especially if you have your own charger. Great. So no, charging and range is really, there's no range anxiety. If you would still do a road trip cross country, yeah, I wouldn't still rely on the system, well, not the car, but the infrastructure to be all the way there. But if you drive within a 500-600 kilometer radius for like 9 out of 10 times per year, you'll be extremely well set up with this. The range is just amazing. Range is great. It's nice to finally have so much range, especially with the Mach-E GT we've had, which was in winter. It was way colder. I got like 320 kilometers, 350 kilometers out of one battery. This is double. That's great. But with that, I think it's time to send it over to the final actually, no, sorry. One thing I want to talk about. We have this optional HEPA, HEPA filter, whatever it is. So it's like a, whatever you pronounce it, it's a microparticle filter. And it shows you in real time like how dirty the air around you is. So it's actually quite cool. You're in a construction zone, it just goes like terrible. You're behind a bus, terrible. And it always like shows you how it's cleaning the air. It is quite the pricey option, but honestly I would spec it because you actually feel how much better the air quality is in here. It is very good air quality here. And I think that's worth it, especially if you spend a lot of time in your EQS. Anyhow, with that being said, let's send it off to the final thoughts and see if this is worth $170,000. Okay, final thoughts on the 2022 Mercedes Benz EQS580. And without a doubt, this EQS is the best electric vehicle I have ever driven. Period. It has incredible range, it is very comfy, the tech is just phenomenal, and it drives really well. There is no doubt about it. This is a fantastic vehicle. But at a price of $169,750 Canadian, there's also no denying that it is incredibly overpriced, even after factoring in the Mercedes Benz tags, as in like you pay more for the brand, right? But 170 is a tough sell under circumstances. But I think Mercedes knows what they're doing here. The thing is, this is fully optioned out, right? You can get, of course you can get it cheaper. You totally can. This is just the showcase model. This is how everybody wants to have it. And it costs exactly as much as a fully optioned out short wheelbase S-Class. And quite frankly, the S-Class will be a lot nicer inside. It just will be. This is more akin to an E-Class in terms of its interior, with of course amazing tech that beats out everything else that Mercedes has to offer. But if you just go for luxury, there's the S-Class. But I don't think people that are interested in an EQS care about the S-Class, because they look for an electric car and they want to have the best of the best in terms of electric performance. Money, I don't think is much of a consideration for them, within reason, of course. I'm not saying they're buying $1 million cars all the time, but 140, 170, whatever, right? I think for these people, and they just want to have an EV that can do it all and that is impressive, and you have the brand name behind it. That isn't just a Tesla or a Lucid, which few people know. I'm definitely working on getting a Lucid, and Tesla doesn't do press cars, like I've already talked about in the Ioniq review. So if you have a Tesla, any Tesla, and you're in the Toronto area, hit me up. I would love to review your car and compare them to other EVs like the EQS on the market. But I don't think the people buying an EQS really care about that. They want to have a Mercedes, they want to have an EV, and they want to have it comfy. And that is what this Mercedes Benz EQS delivers without a doubt. It is very expensive, but it is very fantastic. And with that being said, I just want to thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell because we got more reviews coming every single week. We got POV test drives about every car where you just see a little more than just in the review. And yeah, I'm trying to keep it fun, trying to keep it lighthearted, and trying to have a good time together. So if you liked it, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.